Super Rhapsody Season 1. Chapter 9 The 10th Specimen. Created by ManYan, written by Locust. As Zhou Sheng was pondering where he would be most likely to find the surviving dinosaurs, after leaving the southern part of the volcano, later, boom rumble, a dull, dull explosion interrupted his thoughts. The entire earth, it seemed, was shaken slightly by the tremor. That is, he looked up sharply, his eyes staring at the dome there, as big as a bowl, as one could see from the ground. Black and red vortex was gradually forming from the depths of the vortex. More than a dozen clusters of light, that were 10 times larger than all of the previous dinosaurs, flew out of there in no particular order, whirling and falling into the sky. In the distance, you can still see these burning masses of light, which are flickering and disintegrating as they swirl and roll up the heat. Zhou Sheng's entire body was bad when he saw this frame, that system sister, manifest. Host, please speak. Zhou Sheng wiped his cold sweat and asked, and that what helped finalize. This time these doesn't also fall down, will it? Kill the little master me. It only took the system a second to give a reply. Analysis complete. The conclusion is that there is a 73% chance that the host will die under this bombardment of the fallen demons. Ouch me go. It's a hell of a pace, isn't it? Say this one, how come? Even the demons are running out. One will be a god, one will be a demon, and a few Buddhas, gods, and whatnot will pop up later. The host is overthinking. Demon god is just a title for a nice level god, the will. I'm just a little bit thoughtful, and you've seen it all, so it look as like I won't be able to keep my little master's privacy in the future. The little king nosed out. Hey, wait a minute, you just said it was a nice level god who fell. Zhou Sheng was horrified. Yes, but as long as the host finds an effective hiding spot with the host's life level, it would be fine to hold on for a few minutes. Upon hearing this, the little cat was not happy. Rap. What do you mean you should? Alas, no matter. Let's see if the young master can find a good place first, otherwise everything will be in vain. The system didn't care what he was thinking. It just reminded him indifferently. Host, there are 4 minutes and 53 seconds left until the mission completion time. Hey, but not it. At least we have to survive this one, right? Otherwise, I just don't stand the chance of turning into a piece of shit. Zhou Sheng angrily slapped his battle sack, and with a few leaps, jumped to the ground on the southern slope, intending to quickly descend the mountain to find a place to crouch down first, to avoid the deadly impact. Before saying anything as for the collection mission, he had no illusions, not in this environment. All the places he passed by were basically a sea of fire. How could there be any living creatures? Just wait to turn into a piece of shit, and hoping it doesn't steam dry and vaporize from the heat. By the inner flash, another minute had passed. Zhou Sheng had run to the foot of the south slope of the fire mountain. He secretly estimated that the impact of the wave should not be far away, so he took a short step, and continued to snatch a rope and ran, looking for the rock body to cross. With the help of a sloping rock wall, he successfully jumped over a section of the rift valley. When he landed, he accidentally found a huge cave that had collapsed. In response to the scene, Locust strikes again with a song called Reanimation of Cosm, Resurrection, for the man and beast on the scene. The entrance to the cave is with its back to the Zhou Sheng, so he doesn't notice it at first. After landing, it was only after taking a little closer look that I could see clearly that the entrance to the cave had all been blocked by the tumbling rocks, and many broken branches of plants were penetrating it. Crackling and burning. The north side of the volcano was already glowing red, which meant that the superheat wave should be hitting here soon. Seeing this situation, the little kid did not dare to waste time. Quickly ran forward, a few strokes to pull away 2 or 3 relatively leaning rocks, but easily squeezed into most of the body, and there continued to dig. It wasn't until almost 10 seconds later that he dug out a small passage. A palpable feeling came over him, and he didn't care if he looked inside or not. He sprang in, then crossed his arms over his head, and did an upward brace. to protect his head from falling rocks, while the whole little man took a dodge stance to meet the oncoming super shockwave. But just then, a young beast's scream rushed into his eardrums, causing him to turn his head to look in the direction of the sound. But it stunned him. There were many exceeding emotions in his heart. There was surprise, and some sinking sighs. It turned out that 10 meters away from himself, a huge carnivorous dinosaur over 10 meters long was lying in a pool of blood, long dead below its head up to its hind legs. All of them had been deformed by the boulders that had shaken down from the cave, and the large and small wounds were no longer bleeding, as its blood had long since dried up from this. It could be seen how terrifying the previous dozens of small-scale impacts were. Even these powerful land overlords could not escape their doom. This should be an adult female tyrannical dragon, the land monarch we knew as the Tyrannosaurus rex. It was the 10th type of dinosaur discovered by Zhou Sheng. It was also, equivalently, the final key to this clearance. For this, he should be very happy, because the mission is finally going to be completed. It was also true that he was pleasantly surprised when he first saw this recently dead Tyrannosaurus. However, when he saw the slightly open mouth of this female Tyrannosaurus, he couldn't quite smile. It wasn't because this mother dragon would swirl and resurrect her corpse and jump up to bite herself. Rather, it was because, in the mother dragon's mouth, there was a pair of golden pupils that were staring at him dead in the face. And that is, there it was, a little Tyrannosaurus, in its mother's mouth. Underneath its eyes, there was no sadness, no fear. There was only deep vigilance. It just stared unblinkingly at Zhou Sheng, shrinking most of its face beneath the mother dragon's fangs, and under the pile of rocks, the huge mother dragon corpse and the sharp pupils of the small Tyrannosaurus dragon, as well as the debris that was constantly shaking and collapsing in the cave, formed a harsh and contrasting picture, causing Zhou Sheng's entire body to become a little stiff. And the scene reminded him of his time at the zoo. Some tourists, who had left over garbage, threw it into a group of crocodiles, so that they could snatch each other's food for their amusement. The mother crocodile, on the other hand, took the little one into her mouth to protect it so that the snatching crocodiles wouldn't hurt it. But she was knocked around by the crocodiles, causing people to laugh. How similar are the actions of the two. The mother dragon must have known that she would not necessarily survive the disaster. So, it took the little tyrannical dragon in its mouth, and used its own body to build a final line of defense. With everything you have, you want this bloodline to be passed on. Thinking about this, Zhou Sheng couldn't help but sigh inwardly. Pity the world's parents, whether it's man or beast. Their love for their children is selfless, all great. Sometimes, they can even give their all, even their lives, for that. Just lamenting. Suddenly, boom! La la la! A loud noise woke up the somewhat disoriented little kid, and also frightened the little Tyrannosaurus into letting out a chirp. The young beast's scream just now should have been it, but the shockwave had crashed in. Zhou Sheng simply I do not have time to consider other evasion methods, only subconsciously driven fiercely to the front of the female Tyrannosaurus, hands outstretched. A handful of the little guy in the mother dragon's mouth, and he slipped out. Seeing Zhou Sheng's sudden action, the little Tyrannosaurus as shocked and kept twisting its body, clawing and stamping its feet, trying to free itself from the little king's shorty hands. And yes, this time, it was another little female dragon. Little Fart Zhou was in a panic at the sight of it. He said, "Mother, the little master I took an it with the white are running over to protect you. You still do not appreciate it. It's against you too. If it wasn't for your mother's face, I'd have fucking ducked out long ago." Yeah. The little tyrannical dragon bites into the little cat's hum, indicating that it's not biting. Oh my god, Zhou Sheng was left speechless by this little tyrannical dragon chick's little temper. For a moment, he actually forgot that now, as long as he got a genetic sample of the tyrannical dragon, then he could always take the little tyrannical dragon and take refuge inside the subcube. In the heat of the moment, the inherent thoughts in his head were still dominating his behavioral awareness. Right now doesn't care if the other party bites the bill or not. Directly take the little Tyrannosaurus in his arms, bowed his head, stood open horse stance, against the fall, in rocks and impact storm, intending to resist the wave first in the bosom. The little Tyrannosaurus also had a dead grip on Zhou Sheng's hand, and wouldn't let go, straining his eyes wide open, and watching the falling gravel. Motherfucker, you're the only one who can bite his nut. Ow. Give you one to yak the hand. Little fart though, also bit back at the back of the pregnant dragon chick's neck. Oh woo, the dragon chick grunted in pain. Then she bit the weakly cat's arm more vigorously, and the little fart acted like an alchemist. This product was actually in teenage. He moved to as a child now, which was no one after all. The current little Tyrannosaurus couldn't even break Zhou Sheng's defense, let alone be able to hurt him. Congratulations host, obtain Tyrannosaurus gene sample, life level, level 2, reward gene point 100 points, issued, T. He final trial, 10 types of dinosaur genetic samples have been collected. Please try your best to survive until the end of the mission. We have 3 minutes until the end of the mission. Listeners, I'm Locust. If you like my work, please follow me. Your support is the driving force behind my writing. Thank you.